Welcome, dear students, to the fourth lecture of Unit 4, that is Requirement Analysis and Specification. In the previous lecture, we were in the elaboration phase, which was a part of the requirement engineering process. In the elaboration part, we were discussing about requirement modeling. Requirement modeling is nothing but a sort of pictorial representation of your requirements. Here we studied regarding the needs of requirement modeling. We saw the analysis rule of thumb, and we also saw what is domain analysis. In case of domain analysis, we saw that certain requirements are such or certain components are such in a software that they can be reused. So you are finding out such patterns which can be reused using, we used an example of reports, medical reports. Next we saw in brief what are the elements of requirement engineering. We will continue from there in this unit. Okay, so we are in the elaboration part and we are in the requirement modeling, which is elaboration of the elaboration phase. And we saw this and we were in the last part, elements of model. Okay, so this is what we had studied in the last unit and left from here. Elements are scenario-based models, class models, flow models, and behavior models. So today we will be seeing about scenario-based models and specifically use case in scenario-based models in this unit. Now, scenario-based model is nothing but a way in which a user is going to interact with the system, or you can say what features he wants in your system and which way he is going to use your system. If we take an example of library management software, then issuing a book is the way a librarian is interacting with the software. So you can say that it is a kind of scenario or it is a kind of use case. So this we will be covering in scenario based models. But before we move into details, I would like to explain all the diagrams, scenario, class, flow and behavior using a single system. So first it is very necessary to understand that system. Now, the system which I have chosen was my own project which I had developed in the last year, and this project was developed almost 15 years ago. So this is a cardio health monitor system. A cardio health monitor system is a non-invasive screening method. By non-invasive we mean that you don't have to prick. There is no blood. Without blood or without any pain, you are having a screening method. Now, what is the screening of? The screening is of your heart. So what my software actually was doing is, it was measuring your heartbeat, and based on your heartbeats and the waveforms of your heart, it was giving you your cardiovascular age, means the age of your heart. Now there is a lot of difference between your age and your cardiovascular age. So your age is your biological age, which is calculated from the date of your birth, whereas cardiovascular age is the age of your heart. If your age and your heart's age are equal, then you are healthy. If your heart age is less than your biological age, you are still more healthy. But if your age is less than your heart's age, then you can say your heart is becoming older. Okay, so my system, Cardio Health Monitor, was monitoring your pulse using a cardio clip. So this particular cardio clip, as you can see in the diagram, is kept in your finger and it was generating some waveforms. Now these waveforms were giving you your cardiovascular age. It works on the principle that your waveform is giving your cardiovascular age or its state. Okay, so it is easy, it is safe, and it is a painless way. So I will be sharing with you the diagrams, and all diagrams will be based on this system. So first, let us know more about system. The system was working in two parts. The first part was record taking, another part was calculation. So in a record reading, the cardio clip had something called as an adapted pulse oximeter. Now this adapted pulse oximeter works by taking DVP, that is digital volume pulse. It is a kind of wave format. This wave format was taken using photoplethysmosis. Okay, so photoplethysmography is used in order to take these waveforms, and these waveforms were shown into your or taken into your software. Okay, so what happens during this is the cardio clip was connected to the computer. It was worn on a person's finger, and the waveform was noted down for 90 seconds. Now they were doing this process for a total of 3 times, so that you can take the average of all the three results. Okay, this was how you are taking readings. Next is what calculations you are doing. You are calculating the stiffness index, and this stiffness index is ranging from 2 to 14. Okay, so you are given a count. After the readings that you are taking, you are getting a number, say 2 or 5 or 50 or sorry, not 15 or 10. So these numbers are nothing but your cardiovascular ages. Okay, and based on that you can compare your age with your cardiovascular age. Okay, okay, so let us see what were the features of the system which I developed. First we'll move on to users. There were two different users, administrator and practitioner. Administrator is the person who is managing the site, and practitioner is the doctor. So this software can be used by a practitioner or the admin, but not the client directly. Okay, so the client couldn't do this test directly. He had to go to the practitioner, and the practitioner would do this for them. Next is features of my system. So login is a functionality. Without login, the doctor won't be able to do the test. The admin won't be able to manage the website, desktop application. Next is manage account. Manage account is nothing but you are that is done by the administrator. That can also be done by the practitioner when he is managing the account of the particular client or the patient. Next is register practitioner. Now this is a functionality which can be done by administrator as well as practitioner. The administrator can register a doctor, okay, and a doctor can himself get registered. So both of these people can register the doctor. Next is forgot password. It applies to both of them. Anybody of them can forget the password. Manage tests is something that is done by the practitioner. In that you are managing the test, means the test of cardiovascular age. Next is managing reports. So there you are managing your reports of the patient. Manage clients, that is you are managing all the patients that are coming to the practitioner. And last is manage profile, where the doctor can manage his own profile. Okay. Okay, next we'll move on to what are use cases or scenario based elements. Now scenario based elements are nothing but it describes the system from a user's viewpoint. So how your user is going to see the system. So this is done in form of user stories or scenarios. Now these user stories or scenarios are called use cases, and They can be depicted using a use case diagram, activity diagram, and swim lane diagram. So these three diagrams are basically studied in the scenario based elements. Today we are going to focus on the use case diagram only. The use case diagram is nothing but a set of scenarios. Scenarios means the way you are interacting with the system. Okay, so a set of the ways of interacting with the system, how the system will be used. That is called a use case. Now, use case consists of actors. Now, actor is nothing but a person or a user who is going to use the software or interact with the software. Now, there are two types of users, primary and secondary. Primary is the main user who is going to use the system. And secondary actors are those that are making the system work efficiently so that the main or the primary actors can perform their functions. Now this is my use case diagram for cardio health monitor. There are a total of 8 use cases. As you can see, use case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And all these 8 use cases are nothing but the features of my system, as you can see. So whatever features or functional requirements that I have in my software, they are supposed to be represented in form of ellipses in a use case. So all these 8 are my use cases. Next comes actors. There are a total of 2 actors. Users are practitioner and administrator. Here, the main person who is going to use the software is the doctor or practitioner. So he is a primary actor, whereas administrator is a secondary actor because he is going to indirectly maintain the software for the practitioner. Next is the system boundary. This is your system boundary. The whole rectangle that you can see is a boundary. That is your system boundary, and it should always have a name of your system mentioned here. So this is how you are creating a use case diagram. It consists of all the features of your system, the actors of your system with a system boundary. Now note that these arrows, these lines which are used for connecting actor and the use case are no directional. They are just connecting lines. Okay. Okay. Next is we are going to specify all these use cases in a detailed manner. We are going to describe them. Let us take an example of the login functionality, that is this one. Okay, so login is something that is done by practitioner as well as administrator. Okay, in short, in this diagram you can see that the administrator can only log in, manage account and register the practitioner, whereas all the remaining things can be done by the practitioner except from managing account, because managing account of the practitioner is done by the administrator. Okay. So login functionality, you are always giving a title to your use case, that is login. We are giving it a unique ID. We are specifying the actors who can perform this activity, so both practitioner and administrator. Next is the description of login. So it says that the administrator and practitioner both can log on into the cardio health monitor system using their own login credentials, that is username and password. What are the preconditions? Preconditions means that if you want to log in into your system, what prerequisites should be there so that you can log in. So first is the client health management cardio health monitor system should be installed successfully on the workstation or on your computer, and If you want to log in, you need to be registered beforehand. Okay, if you are not registered, you won't be able to log in. Now, what is the task sequence? Means how, in what sequence you can log in your system. So first thing that takes place is either the administrator or the practitioner, they will enter their username and password. Next is the cardio health monitor system will check whether the username and password is authorized and the user is an authorized user or not. This is the task sequence. What are the post conditions? Post conditions is after the task sequence are occurring, what your system is doing. So here in post conditions, your system redirects you to the appropriate page. If you are a practitioner, you will have a doctor's page open, and if you are an administrator, you will have administrative controls in your hand after login. Exception. Exception is a condition which can occur when there is some kind of problem or some kind of fault. So when can exceptions occur? Exceptions can occur when the wrong credentials are entered. So if your practitioner or your administrator is entering wrong username password, you are directed back to task sequence number 1, that is here. You again have to enter your username and password. Or if your internet connection fails. Modification history suggests that when have you edited the code of login or prepared the code of login. An author is the one who is designing the login code. Okay, so we have completed with this login feature. We will now go on to forgot password. Forgot password is here. I've just forgotten to add an arrow here from administrator to forgot password. It should be there. Okay, so it's a mistake in my diagram. You kindly note it. Okay, forgot password. The use case ID is 003. Okay, you can give any ID. Actors are practitioner and administrator. Okay, so what is happening? The description is if practitioner or administrator forgets the password, he can get back to a new system and he can generate a new password, encrypted password. Precondition. Again here in precondition, the cardio health monitor system should be successfully installed and the practitioner should be registered with the system with a particular username and password. Now the task sequence for forgot password. So if you are forgetting the password, the practitioner or administrator will click on the email me button. Then the system will ask for the email ID. The practitioner or administrator will enter the registered email ID and submit it. And the system will generate a new password and send it to them via the mail ID. Post conditions. This password is stored in the database in an encrypted form and the password sent to the email ID of the user is also in encrypted format. Now exception. If you are entering a wrong mail ID in the practitioner or administrator part from their part, then it is redirecting you to task sequence step number 1. That is again you have to go on email me and it asks for a new email ID. Okay, second time it asks for your email ID. If internet connection fails and if your software is not installed properly. Next is modification history and author name, as you already know. Okay, so this is how you are writing your use case. That is, you are having a diagram, you are specifying actors, use cases, boundary, you are taking all these 8 functionalities and developing such kind of scenarios for all the 8 activities I have just shown you too. Okay. Now there are 5 relationships in use cases. First is association between an actor and a use case. Okay, so this is association between an actor. This is your actor and this is your use case. In our case, practitioner and forgot password, practitioner and login. So these are an association of an actor and a use case. Next is generalization of an actor. Generalization concept means the concept of inheritance. Okay, so inheritance is a concept where you are having or you are taking or borrowing properties from your parent class. Remember your prerequisite lecture number 1 and 2 both. Okay, in first we saw what is inheritance and second we saw inheritance in UML. Okay, so generalization of an actor is this diagram from here I have taken as it is, and I have created an NRFC customer here, which is a subclass of customer. So this is your parent class and this is your child class. Okay, so whatever your parent class is doing, the child class can also do. And apart from that, child class can have its own new use cases. As a child class can have its own new features in a subclass, also it can have new use cases also. Okay, so customer is a superclass. It has a subclass NRFC customer, and NRFC customer can open an account. NRFC customer can deposit funds as well as he can convert currency also. So a simple customer cannot convert currency, but an NRFC customer can convert currency. Okay. Okay. So next is generalization of a use case. This was generalization of an actor. Now we are moving to generalizing the use cases here. Okay. So generalization of a use case, we'll move, this is generalization of use case, we will be seeing it afterwards. Let us first see extend relationship between two use cases and include relationship between two use cases. So this is extends. Okay, so this is a customer, this is a subclass of customer. Customer can open account and deposit funds. Now deposit funds and calculate bonus. Okay, so this is a bigger class or bigger use case, and this is a sub use case. So if you are depositing funds, you can calculate bonus. Okay, so you can say that your super use case is this and this is your sub use case. Okay, so calculate bonus is extends deposit funds. Okay, so when can you calculate bonus? When your amount is over 10,000 or your age is over 55, then you can use this use case, otherwise no. Okay, the rest remains same. This is extending. So from here you can have this. And next is include. Include means you are making it a part of. So I can say that this is a customer, which is your super class. This is your subclass. This is current convert currency. This much part you don't have to deal with. In this customer, he can open up the account, he can deposit funds, and he can withdraw funds. Okay, so depositing funds, whenever you deposit some money, your balance will get updated. If you are withdrawing money, again your balance will get updated. So update balance is something which has to be compulsorily included in depositing funds and withdrawing funds. Okay. Okay. So this is a compulsion part, therefore it is mentioned in include. But when some condition is not a compulsion but will be necessary only when certain conditions are fulfilled, then you have to write it in extent. So the difference between extends and includes is include is something that will be necessary called upon every time, whereas extend is something that will be called only when a certain condition is fulfilled. Okay. Okay. So now we will move on to, we have seen first, second and fourth, fifth. We will now move on to the third one, that is generalization of a use case. This is generalization of a use case. As you can see, member can perform inquiry for membership, request for book issue, request for book return, and search for books. Whereas librarian can do these many features. Now, when you are implementing extends and you are implementing include all together, okay, then you are using a generalization of a use case. So as you can see, request for book return is extending pay fine. So if your request for book return is not fulfilled, then you have to pay a fine. Otherwise, you can directly return your book. Okay. Similarly, return a book is not fulfilled, then you have to charge for late return. Okay. And you are maintaining the book records. So if you are maintaining the book records, you need to add a book, you need to remove a book, and you need to update a new book which is coming. So all this will come under include. Okay. So this is generalization of a use case in library management system. That's all for today's lecture. In the next lecture, we will be moving on to activity and swim lane diagrams. Thank you.